The following program was paid for by Southern American Media. Fox 30 WGBC invites you to the talk of all the towns in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning. I'm Scotty Ray along with Candace. We've got a special guest this morning as well. And as we start this out, I want to remind everybody that's watching online, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook has an issue today of not sending out notifications that we are live. So it is causing people not to know. So if you're watching online, share it so others will know that we are live and actually handling business this morning, as we like to say. Weird.
What's up with the...
Did that yesterday as well.
Okay.
They've got a internal problem, and you can't exactly pick up the phone and call them and go, what is the issue?
Right.
They don't like to return phone calls.
And then if you do send them something, do they give you a little confirmation back? Like we got it?
8 months later, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just like, is it just like hanging up there?
I
Like
lost
you don't know
a
if they got it or not?
password one time, and it took about 9 months before they replied. I guess they got a lot of people, but seriously, there ought to be a better way to handle business.
Yeah.
That's just a thought. But as we go with that is one of the reasons I want to remind you, if you are watching online, share it. And welcome to Fox 30. If you're watching on television, thank y'all so much.
Yes, we enjoy everybody's comments every morning. And if you didn't know you could comment, you can go to Facebook or YouTube, or, you can comment while we're on the air, and we can answer your questions or...
Scotty Ray Report.
Yeah, Scotty Ray Report.
Chris joins us. Chris Reed, what do I call you nowadays? What is your position? What do we call you now? And private investigator, is that a good one?
No, I was kicked out of that position.
That's awful.
So just a private citizen. That sounds okay. That sounds good.
Mr. Private Citizen. He was telling me as he was having coffee that you and him were talking, and that you got a tattoo while you were on vacation.
Well, he lied.
She got it. It said.
Yeah, I don't remember that conversation.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Hurt with a K.
Scotty Ray's good at making stuff up. Yeah.
Bless you. Did it hurt?
No, we joked about tattoos though at one time.
See, yeah. I know these
things. We passed
things.
the mini tattoo shops, but no, I don't have a tattoo.
I have neighbors that know you. They just tell me everything that goes on over there.
Oh,
did you know Candace is doing it? No. We do hope your day is going well. We want to remind you that there is a chance of severe weather tomorrow. It is a level 2 is what we've got tomorrow, which means we could have some severe storms in the area. And what this means is high winds. Let me pull this up where you can see this. This is what is projected. Now, our radar has this stretching from here at Vicksburg all the way across Bama and these areas right here, Meridian, Clark County. This will include the cities of Quitman, Meridian, Newton, Philadelphia, as we go northward through Scuba, DeKalb, and even on up into Winston County, into Louisville, all the way up to Stark, Vegas, is involved in this level 2 weather. Now, we'll begin sometime after lunch into the evening hours, and we'll be here to take you through it street by street, should it turn ugly or anything. I want to remind you that.
Turn ugly.
We do hope that.
I'm not going to turn down the rain chance.
Right.
We need the rain.
We do need the rain.
It has been a dilly there. We need to wish a big old happy birthday this morning. You don't get many of these. And this is a big deal here as we wish Miss Mavis Reese Thrash 101th birthday. Did I say that right? 101 and 101th? Uh-huh. She celebrated yesterday afternoon out at Aldersgate. That is so many, and that is wonderful.
It is wonderful. How wonderful to be able to have a 101 birthday. I mean,
she looks better than most 50-year-olds.
She does.
What are you trying to say over here? Because I'm 50? Is that what you're trying to...
Well, I started to say in the 30s because I'm 37.
Oh, but, sure.
She looks good.
She does.
Well, I don't know how to act being the youngest one here at 27. I don't know what I'm saying.
Ooh, it's getting deep in here, y'all.
I wish. Yeah.
Well,
but happy birthday, Miss Mavis Reeves Thrash.
Yes, that's a wonderful. I don't know what to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if I were in jail, I wouldn't have to think about it. But I brought it up earlier today on our first broadcast that Parchman Prison, it's been there 121 years. Did you ever get a chance to tour that?
No.
Visit with some old friends that you might have sent over there?
Yeah, no, I didn't. That's pretty much the last place that I actually wanted to go. So I wouldn't, I don't think that they would be very welcoming. But No.
Be like that movie Tango and Cash.
What's the one in Louisiana that's what? Angola. Yeah,
Angola.
yeah.
Very bad place.
Yeah,
Our very own Mississippi, after 121 years of operation, is putting in air conditioning.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine not having air conditioning for all that time.
But basically, our big prisons across the state, unless it's a new facility, didn't have it. And I guess that's one of the reasons you didn't want to be shipped over to Parchman. That's hot. But if you're waiting to go, good news is
You're waiting to go. That kind of give some criminals some options now.
Yeah. They say
Is there a such thing as a good time to go to Parchman? I don't know.
by spring you'll have air conditioning. They got 40% of it done now, but the rest of you guys are going to be cool by then. I mean, seriously, there's people watching that are getting ready to go. Y'all know it.
Yeah, well, I don't think it makes them feel any better, but it may.
Right.
And Buck Roberts just hadn't come down with the gavel yet. Go ahead, Buck. Now, as we talk about crime and things that happen, Lincoln County, and me and Chris were talking this before you got here this morning. South of that was a guy that was going from home to home. As we keep seeing here in Meridian, we're going to show a video of this in a moment, to where an individual goes up to a house, shakes the door, tries to get in. He goes through another car, yells at somebody that saw him. Then he makes the mistake of going to house number 5. Busts the window, and there's a homeowner that happens to own a firearm. Took him out. He's not going to be charged because it was breaking and entering, and the guy protected his home.
Yeah, people are getting really brave at the stuff that they're doing nowadays with as many people who are, owners of firearms and do intend to protect their homes, and their vehicles and stuff. But
Yeah, it's gotten to the point, and you see really all across the nation that people are having to, they're being forced to take the law in their own hands and to protect themselves and their families. Now, even in Lincoln County, trust me, I don't think that this homeowner would be charged because he was protecting himself. Because under the justifiable homicide law in the state of Mississippi, it states that as a reasonable citizen, not a highly trained law enforcement or individual, as a reasonable person, if you believe that some great bodily harm, injury, loss of limb, death, or some felony is going to be committed upon you or someone else, you have a right under the justifiable homicide law to use lethal force. So the law doesn't protect you from protecting your property, like, hey, well, he was stealing my Samsung TV, so I went ahead and took him out.
Right.
But you're protecting yourself, because reality is, if he breaks into your house, you don't know if he's coming for you, your family, if he's going to commit a felony upon you, your person, or what. And so that's good for the state of Mississippi, that we don't have to stop and ask them, hey, what are you fixing to do? Are you fixing to take my credit card, or are you fixing to cut my throat? So I think, and it's sad that it's gotten that way, but have to take the law in our own hands and start protecting ourselves, because the government and on the national level and the local level is kind of having issues. I'll just leave it at that.
Address a question or a statement that we just got about Chris. And Lonnie, I have to ask. She said that you remind her of Buford Pusser, and what I want to know, is it Joe Don Walker or is it The Rock that you remind her of?
in Walking Tall.
Hey,
Yeah.
Buford Pusser. The funny thing, when I graduated school in Laurel at West Jones and moved to Jackson, Tennessee, I went with a surveying crew, and we actually surveyed Buford Pusser's old house in town. I think it was Savannah.
Yeah.
In Savannah. And so that's crazy. Yeah, that gone are those days of law enforcement. I'll just say that.
But Buford, the original Buford Pusser Walking Tall was really the best. They let that guy in there, that Johnny Knox, be a part of it. And he's just a horrible actor. Anyway, he doesn't stand for what I believe in, number one. And it just didn't. But, the first one, the guy was just trying to protect his family.
Yeah, I think what made him successful, obviously, was back in the day. Well, yeah, the stick, but it was the fact of this: there were consequences, and the bad guys knew that there were consequences.
Yes,
didn't stop them, but in their mind they said, "But if I get caught, it's not going to feel good. There's consequences.
Now,
and so gone are the consequences today.
Was it the Dixie Mafia that was against him, or was it a different mafia? Do you remember which mafia that it was?
Like I said, I'm 37, Scotty, so you're 62 or something. So you would know a lot more than I would.
But, as you compare yesterday to today, to where you had the mafia at that point, now that has been pretty much replaced by gangs. Am I not
correct?
right
Well, like you said,
works?
the Dixie Mafia, I mean, it's pretty, call it a gang. I mean, they had gangs in New York and Bronx, and they have them everywhere, so it's just a change in a name, so it's just word association.
Now, and that's true. Coming up, we're going to look at Eagle Point, Mississippi. Where is that? That's right out by Northeast Lauderdale. As we started yesterday's program, I told everybody to go out and check your cars because I'd gotten reports that people had been stealing. Well, it got worse. They even took some vehicles. And we're going to show you what the perpetrators, is that the word?
That sounds good.
Yep. Yeah. I've listened to a few of his speeches. We're going to take a look at some video from Eagle Point of what went on in the darkness and the still of the night as you slept, as the criminals try to take what you've got. All that is up and coming. Y'all don't rush off. We'd love to have you around for the whole show. Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings this week. California strawberries, 2 for $5. Fresh peaches, $1.99 a pound. Vidalia onions, a 3-pound bag, only $3.99. Heinz tomato ketchup, 32-ounce, $3.49. Boneless whole pork loin, $1.79 a pound. And boneless center-cut pork chops family pack, $2.49 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. Our special guest this morning is Chris Reed. At one time, he was a police officer. He's been relieved of that duty. I don't know how that happened. You're missed by a few folks.
Politics.
It is.
Politics. No, I believe I get it. When we've said this 1,000 times. I'm missed by folks. Look, that's humbling, but what they miss is the not the success, but the direction that we were going. Law enforcement and the community, we were together, and so that's what they miss. That's what I miss. I miss even officers that contact me today. We miss that when you remove someone. That they considered as a leader that was moving that direction, that was proactive. Then 11 months later, we see where we are today. Then you can only attribute it to that and what decisions were made strictly for politics. So that's what they miss, and I miss the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. I've always said, Chris, I fail you.
Structured,
Buford Pufser was a Marine.
He was.
I have a real good friend, Mr. Richard Armstrong, and I know he doesn't mind me mentioning his name. He's a retired Marine colonel, and
right.
I just love, we sit down periodically and eat lunch and just love picking his brain.
Learn a lot.
Good people.
Mm-hmm. As I brought this up yesterday, and we're going to look into each day at sammedia.network, we post every police report from every county around the area so you can know who's been arrested, what they've done, what crimes were committed. We're on top of this every day. I report it as soon as it happens. We get it out. We have the police report from Meridian that happened on today's Wednesday. It'd be Tuesday. We've got that. We'll talk about how many car burglaries, how many cars were stolen. It's astronomical. But as we woke up, as I said, I'd gotten reports over near Van Zyverden of a group of 3 to 4 people going from car to car. I didn't get any video from Van Zyverden, but I did get video from over at Eagle Point, which through the woods is nowhere.
Right.
I think they may even connect now.
Yeah, Saddlebrook Drive around that area, I think, and there's a little loop. Mm-hmm. That's like the bottom part of Eagle Point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And here we go. Let's pull this up where everybody can see this. This is at 1:47 a.m., if you will look at that. I believe that's what that is, at 1:47 a.m. Let's start this video. This is suspects. You see them? Mm-hmm. They're checking cars, and they're clothed head to toe to where you can't see their faces. Now, I didn't catch. Did you catch that if they had on gloves or not? I think they did. They're trying not to leave fingerprints, and they just go from car to car and I think I can zoom this up. Here they are at another car. Yeah, they got gloves on. And they're going to open this, and these lights of the car, when they open those do blink. But this is what they do. They go from car to car, and we had video the other morning of another subdivision to where they stole a car, a truck. I posted that. Are you used to seeing this, Chris, in your line of work of what we've had? Are they getting worse?
Well, it's getting worse, and the reason it's getting worse is not because Chris Reed's not the police chief or anything like that. It's because of the lack of manpower, being so understaffed, not only here locally, but really across the nation. We really didn't hear a lot about property crimes here in Meridian in the past 10, 11 months, just because the crimes against person, the violent crimes was so prevalent, and it still is. I mean, I think you're going to talk about having a shooting just yesterday, having a shooting victim. Yeah. And but the reason you have it now in the property crimes is just skyrocketed along with the violent crimes is because there's no officer presence. I've mentioned it before that the first level of force continuum in law enforcement that we use in law enforcement is officer presence. Officer presence deters a lot of stuff.
It's kind of like your mama standing at the back door looking at you. You don't act right in front of her. Most
definitely. And if there's no authority around, then you're gonna play. And so that's just what you see. There's no one, because there's no, when you're talking about having maybe 3 to 4, and 4 is a good day, officers on a shift at a time, and there's 4 shifts at Meridian, and a population of 35,200 and something here in Meridian. What do you expect's going to happen?
As we look at Eagle Point, as they kept going around, they get car to car. This is what they come up with at the end. They took this. Right there, that truck. Right. If you happen to see this floating around Meridian, it has an Alabama tag on it on the back, and on the front, it's got a house divided tag. Y'all have all seen that of the football teams. They stole it, 2015 Chevrolet. Now, that's a high country, gorgeous truck, but they wanted to have it for their own. Now, there's 2 things, and you tell me what your thoughts are on this, Chris. We all know that they steal cars to go commit other robberies and breaking into cars.
Correct.
Are they doing this, or... I want to pull this up in just a second. There are so many cars. Are they being sold? Are they taking them to a chop shop? Are they reselling them? Or is it strictly used for crime, you think?
Yeah, it's going to be here. Most of the time it's used for crime and additional crimes. Some gangs have initiations. And those initiations have different levels and steps. One initiation would be property crime. Hey, you need to go and steal a vehicle, and then pick up your people, ride around, commit more property crimes, burglaries, auto thefts, things of that nature, and then several hours later, ditch it before it gets daylight, set it on fire, burn it. I think we used to have a lot in the county, Clark County and stuff, where we'd find Clark County, Lauderdale, where we'd find vehicles abandoned that they were just burned to the ground because it was a stolen vehicle. They rode around, did their crime or whatever. Also using stolen vehicles as riding around and having these retaliations of gunfire. But not so much. I'm not saying that they don't have chop shops or whatever,
right?
But it's not as organized. I mean, if you look at those individuals on that video that you just showed, Scotty, look how relaxed. The first thing that I notice is how relaxed they are. They're just going from door to door because they know there are no consequences and they know there's no police presence. They're just, hey, let's go from yard to yard, just relax, not worried about anything. And so that, to me, that's more startling than really anything else. And we've gotten to the point where we have to protect ourselves
now,
and our family.
Real serious about this also. Say you're watching me from House, Mississippi, you're watching me from across the county line of the show right now into Clark County, or you're over Newton, and you think, well, it's not bad here. Let's give you an example of this. And this is telling you that the thieves in our area are expanding out of the Meridian area. Yesterday, a truck was stolen in Clark County. It was found on 8th Street on the corner of 39th Avenue where they abandoned it. Most likely, I hadn't gotten an answer back, but I'm pretty sure that vehicle was used in several crimes. So they go out. Just because you don't live in the city limits of Meridian or in Collinsville doesn't mean that they're not going to come steal your car.
Right.
Subdivisions are are easier because they can get more loot, so to speak.
What surprises me is that people are still leaving their vehicles unlocked, and I can understand forgetting to lock it maybe, but leaving their keys in the car, I don't understand that.
It's
a
a
lot of
habit.
people are doing that.
You can jump out your car in a hurry and it just never crosses your mind.
Yeah, I understand that, and like, you know, I've done this several times. You know, get out. You know, you intend on going back out there and getting something, and you just
Then you
forget
get
about
lazy.
it. Right, you just forget about it or get lazy. Yeah.
Well,
But I just-
what we do is we still have the mindset of waiting for something bad to happen before we change, implement, revise, or enforce policy. So it hadn't happened. Look, I hadn't had a vehicle stolen in my whole life or whatever, so I have a tendency to be more relaxed and say, well, it hadn't happened yet. You know, complacency. But we're in a day and age where no location is secure, and we have to do what we have to do. I mean, look, you're saying, oh my goodness, there's crime at Eagle Point. Well,
It's everywhere.
you know, because it's an easy target.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's out in Collinsville. It's out in our areas. It's in, like you said, in the outskirts of our city. I mean, it is.
Well, like Scotty Ray said, they're expanding.
Right.
They're just spreading out, and the reason they are spreading out and expanding is because they know that there's no officer presence. I keep saying it, and look, prove me wrong on that. If there's no, and I know that elected officials said we're going to have a car down every street corner. You can't even get a car down Highway 39 and 19 North at the same time. It has to be officer presence, which shows proactiveness. You have to be proactive.
Tell me, Chris, if you're willing to do this, because I know you do a little investigating on the side. Chris is good at what he does. Y'all don't let this man fool you. He can.
I'm so good that I got terminated.
I know. But since you're kind of good at this, and I've seen this on these big television shows where they'll go out and do a stakeout and they'll take a car. What do they call that? A bait car?
A bait car.
Let's take your wife's new vehicle that she just got, put a live video on it. Let's stake out and see how long it takes to get it taken.
Look, I tell you what, if you text her or call her, matter of fact, her and her sister's on the road now to Jackson, so
Yeah.
they're going shopping, but she had to make sure she had her bulletproof vest and her Kevlar helmet. But look,
Yeah.
give her a call, and she's on the way, and if she'll let me do that, then I'll bait up her Jeep, and we'll do it.
Oh, boy. That'd be fun now. I have
It'd
to
be
admit.
fun. It's not going to happen with hers, but it'd be fun.
Let's talk about this. Let's pull this up. As I said, I mentioned, and we post this every day, the Meridian Police Department arrest report, an incident report, and it shows everything that went on overnight. It doesn't give great detail. The police will only give me so much to release to the public, but I want to show you this. Let's pull this up here on the screen. As we pull this up, you'll see this. It says the arrest report from yesterday. This is everybody that went to jail yesterday, and this is the incident report. We had a robbery yesterday that happened at Bonita Lake Circle, 1000 block there. Commercial burglary happened at the 100 block of 22nd Avenue. As we go down, let's get to this. Stolen vehicles. And I don't think all the cars made it on there. I know that 3 cars were recovered yesterday that didn't make it to the list. But 4:10 p.m. on the 15th, a car was stolen. 805, the 1300 block of 45th Avenue. 2nd Avenue, a car was stolen. The 1900 block of 9th Avenue. The list just keeps going on here. And then we get into the auto burglaries. Look at this. It happens all at North Hill Street, 500 block, Highway 39. It goes on and on and on. And then you get down there and it also lists the shootings and things that go on in our area. And we have that every day for you to kind of keep track of where things are going on, what neighborhoods are being hit.
Right.
Yeah, it's just you're just seeing a direct result of our men and women in law enforcement being forced to be reactive. You know, I saw a quote from a lady who her son was killed in, I think, 2009, and she even addressed it. That I think a shooting that happened even yesterday, but she said that she had called 911 here locally and reported shots being fired, and it has gotten so bad that she, and this is her quoted that the dispatcher said, "Can you go outside and try to identify the shooter?"
Yeah.
I read that quote and I said, 911 said, "Can you go outside and identify the shooter?" Are you kidding me?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Seriously, seriously, and we're waiting for something tragic or bad to happen. But here's the deal: they can't do anything about it right now. They're so understaffed, and so you see a lot of people. I think even in New York, a store owner or a store clerk, or whatever, was being charged for second-degree murder or manslaughter on a guy that was trying to rob him. And
that happened in New York,
right? With all the pressure now, the DA's office says, "Oh, we're going to drop the charges." Well, if there wasn't any pressure from the public or whatever, he would have been charged for protecting himself.
That's right.
And it was just a different mindset. I don't understand.
Jan Bushman said things are so bad right now. She's locking her bathroom door when she goes in there.
Hey, she's working on preventive maintenance. Don't wait for somebody to open the door and say, next time I'll lock it.
Look, let me tell you, I know people that have a gun in every room in their house. Like if they had to go in the bathroom to get away from somebody, there's a gun in the drawer.
Well,
I'm seriously,
Yeah. I tell you, whenever I was appointed, someone mentioned, but whenever I was appointed chief, probably 3 months later, we had such a huge, because Meridian is second in the state in the homeless population. And I've mentioned before, we have two types of homeless. Be homeless, those that are down on their luck, lost their job, family, whatever, veterans, and then you have transients who choose to be that way and choose that lifestyle, get in the drugs and the thefts and things. So we had a big ring of catalytic converters being stolen. A lot of businesses were being hit whenever they closed down, and so I could have continued to just be reactive and say, hey, go out there and take the report and let it be up to the insurance adjusters and things of that nature. But then I formed a unit that says, hey, it is your job. You don't do anything else but go out and get intel and find out who's who. And we picked up one individual and started talking to him, say, yeah, it's not looking good for you. He flips, and then we start getting so-and-so. And I think in a matter of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we arrested 7 people that was specifically in that catalytic converter theft ring. And you remember, because I gave you the information, you posted it, and people saying, why is he posting? No, I'm putting it out there to let you know that there's consequences and something's being done. And also, if you can identify those individuals on a crime that was committed against you, against your property, that you can give information, because I'll stack the charges on them. Hey, you choose that lifestyle, I'm going to stack the charges on you, and we're going to prosecute you. The law enforcement can't prosecute you. It's the DA's office and the U.S. Attorney's office, but we're going to prosecute you. I'm going to make it you're going to have consequences for your actions and stuff.
And with that, I want to say this: a lot of time police get blamed. Well, you're not going to do anything with them if you arrest them. It's not their fault.
It's the system. It's the system, Scotty Ray. I mean, it is. But reality is, when you're in law enforcement, the blame goes with the territory. I want to put this out there. A lot of people don't think, but there are people out there that hate Chris Reed.
I've heard this. I have. They highly dislike you.
But it goes with the territory. The negative goes with the territory. You have to be able to stand up and address those negative things. You have to be able to stand up and take the blame and take the responsibility and say, we dropped the ball, my mistake, and we're not gonna make that mistake again. You have to be able to do that.
The biggest complaint I've heard about you is that that person that was behind you over at Winn-Dixie. You were trying to use those coupons, those 2 for 1. You couldn't get your coupon. You really caused an issue there in line. I want to point that out. And don't write any more checks. Use a debit card, Chris, please. It backs things up.
Well, look, it's not my fault. I tell the clerk, can you post date this check for 3 weeks until I get my next check? And so if they go ahead and deposit it, it's their fault, because I tell them it's not going to be in the bank until 3 weeks later.
But you know that? Seriously, if you're in a hurry and you go in, you got to be somewhere on time. It's somebody with a coupon in front of you. And they're looking for the date, trying to find it. It's on here.
Yeah, that's because they watch that show on TV where someone brings in 9,000 coupons and they spend $700 for the groceries and they ended up paying a nickel.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, I don't do it. I wish I could.
Is it worth it to sit there for 2 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a coupon clipper, but because I just ain't never took the time to do that. But I know people that do save a whole lot of money doing that. But the check writing thing holds up the line too, because I used to do it all the time, and people would look at me like they could just run right through me, and I'm like, I pay for these checks. I'm writing them. When they go, just sign it. You don't have to fill it out. Just sign it. I'm like, no, I'm putting everything.
Yeah, when I was single and living in an apartment in Meridian, I used to that's all how I used to pay was write the check and see, all right, so it's Tuesday and if I write a check today, I get paid Friday.
Yeah.
So if it's Tuesday afternoon, hopefully it won't go through till Friday morning, and my check can make it first.
Well, like now you're out of luck.
Yeah,
It goes
instant.
through there.
Exactly.
And, I have seen people go, I'm sorry, it won't go through. Like,
Oh yeah,
seriously.
that'd be an awful feeling. But you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's take a minute and talk about our friend Chet. Who is Chet? Well, he's Chet's Paint and Body. You'll find him out in Center Hill, and he does this. Somebody damages your vehicle, he's going to be there to fix it, no matter what it was. If it was your fault, their fault, doesn't matter. They're going to put it back to those factory specs. And what I mean that is make it look nice again. Let's just put it in layman's term the way we talk. It'll go back to the way it used to look. Sometimes even better, from side swipes to front-end collisions to maybe you backed over a mailbox. Whoops, that does happen from time to time. Jeeps, any make, model, they do all of this, and they do it right for you. Drop in, they'll give you a free quote, won't cost you anything. Once you decide for Chet to do it, it's word of mouth. Check around. Don't just trust me. Ask people that use Chet. They'll let you know he's done a fantastic job. This is the paint booth and all the guys that work there. Professionals is what they are. You'll find them there at Center Hill, right there in the curb, Highway 495. They'll process the insurance work, get in touch with the insurance company to get you a car going. See them, 737-2961. See Chet, his friendly staff, and they'll help you in so many ways.
The Square Peg Mini Mall, located across from the Neshoba County Co-op in Philadelphia, Mississippi, is a family-owned business that promises to treat you like family. The Square Peg Mini Mall has been operating for over 10 years and boasts over 30 vendors with a rotating inventory to fit that something you're looking for. Inventory is constantly updating, so there's always a chance for a surprise when you step inside. Come visit the Square Peg Mini Mall, located on 335 West Main Street in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Those who appreciate the rewards of working hard and getting the job done right should know that Parrish Tractor is now hiring. If you'd like to join the team that proudly represents the most dependable equipment in America, there's never been a better time. Parrish Tractor and Meridian is hiring service technicians to add on to our growing team with a sign-on bonus. At Parrish Tractor, we put our people first because we are more than a tractor store. Apply on our website under careers at parrishtractor.com.
And welcome back to the fastest hour of your life. It is the Scotty Ray and Candace show.
It does go by fast.
It is.
I mean, it seems like we just went on air and it's 8:30
I know.
already.
You need to do a 2-hour special.
Boy, I'd be up all night trying to track down criminals to get more information, wouldn't I?
Well, I don't know if it'd take. Well, I guess it would. It would probably fill up the 2 hours. I don't know.
Let me tell y'all something. It does take a lot. And I have to say, because Chris called me, and I had not posted the shooting yesterday. We'll get into the shooting a little bit. And I said, I was with my mama. Hang on. I had to take my mama to the doctor.
Poor Scotty Ray, you can't even get like a minute.
Goes
And I
with the
didn't-
territory, Scotty.
Yeah.
Well, I was deep inside that building, and I had no cell service. And when I darted the door, it was ding, 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 ding. And it was like shooting. So I said, Mama, hang on. We're going to get some pictures. So
You brought your mother along.
Hold on, Mama.
she went with me on the police chase of where we went and got the video over where the shooting took place.
I think we need to get Scotty Ray a siren and a light for his car.
Ooh.
I think he's earned it. Don't
It's
you think?
illegal, isn't it?
Oh, yes. It is.
But it could
not
be
only-
like a different color light. It could be
not,
like.
not only that, but I'm just afraid that would turn him loose and says, oh, yeah.
Now, I do have the white lights when you have to pull over on the side of the road that you turn on, that it all blinks and everything,
Right, right.
so you won't get run over for safety purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're investigating with a camera.
Yeah, it is. It's actually there actually is a law against that red and blue light
Yeah.
or whatever. It's against the law.
I was
so.
just playing with that. But maybe we need to get you one of those sirens like Barney had on Mayberry on the on the.
Chris has
Andy
already
Griffith show.
given me the weather marshal badge. I feel pretty special about that.
I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. You should just stick with weather, Scotty Ray, because that's what your title used to say is Scotty Ray Weather. And why are you reporting the news? You're reporting the news because you're the only one that's getting the information out. Yeah, I said it. Fire me again.
Appreciate that. But I did get a lot of flack a lot of times. You need to stay in your lane. It says
What
weather.
was it, Cowboy? Is that what-
Yeah, cowboy, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did get called, what's his name, Texas Ranger one time. This lady that was really mad at me.
Yeah, Walker, Texas.
Yeah,
Ranger.
who you think you are, Walker? No, he done the crime. He's got to do
So-
the time.
Hey,
Chris said
so
so.
you know what I dealt with and others. It goes with the territory.
It does.
And you just have to receive it. People are going to give their opinion, and what they actually want is they actually want you to respond to that. And so I've always looked at it as bait. People used to say, "Hey, why don't you respond to so and so that's running for mayor and so that said this?" And I said, "For what?" I said, "That's what they want you to do." I said, "If their only platform is social media," and I said, "then that ought to tell you that it's not worth anything."
Yeah, people just want a quick reaction, and trust me, I'm not fazed by things. I've got 34 years of this, so I'm good. Let's take a step back in time. Do y'all all remember this? She was a beautiful lady, and Christopher Walken was there that night. I didn't realize that for years that he was on the boat when it happened to her. It was her birthday today. Do y'all remember Natalie Wood? She was born, and I'm not sure we will ever know the truth of what happened on that yacht.
Yeah, one of the things I had heard is that they had an argument.
Yep.
Somebody overheard an argument. So you really don't know. Did something, happen? Maybe it was an accident, but...
Her sister says Robert had something to do with it. Of course, that cannot be proved, or it would have already been done.
Now, is he already passed?
No.
Yeah, I was fixing to ask you what his name was. I couldn't remember.
Robert Wagner.
Heart to Heart.
Boy, wasn't that a good show? And before that, him and Eddie Albert done Switch, if y'all remember that detective show.
Yeah, I was in cloth diapers.
Oh, you need to hush this. Back in 44 on this date, I loved them every one. Anybody know that song? One on Her Heart. It was many. War is Hell on the Home Front, too. T.G. Shepherd celebrates a birthday today.
Always love looking at feet.
He needs to sell some albums because he can't afford cowboy boots. Bless his heart. Y'all help the man. That's bad to be in that position. Can't afford boots.
What's his name? Kenny Chesney. Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny's got that. Dina Carter, I showed up with a rug, and also that guy from Texas did that too. I never understood it. The barefoot look. What's the guy that had the one hit wonder, Wave on Wave? Pat Green. Now he's huge in Texas, and let me tell y'all, there's a whole different chart of music in Texas that they don't play the rest of country music. They got their own thing going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what you would have been successful at, Scotty Ray? You said, we're talking about comedy a little bit.
Yeah.
Just name that tune.
I can do country.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can name those movies a lot of times, but not the tunes.
I could name anything. Everything was a
70
blur.
to about 2000, in most country, if it was a hit, I know it.
Yeah.
And then whatever we got now, who cares? Because it's not country.
Yeah, a lot of it is not country.
Yeah, we were talking about Tennessee whiskey as George Jones delivered probably the best version of that there ever was. And I know Chris Stapleton done it, but not my pick.
Well, now you have country singers walking around barefooted with skinny jeans on. And
Right. Singing about I got a girl crush.
Ponytail, is it? What do they call it? A ponytail man
Man bun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I can't stand is when they put these suits on now that look like they're 3 sizes too small.
They do that.
Like I'm like, that might have fit you in 19 whatever.
Van Mack will back me up on this. He's somewhere today in America watching this TV show, but it all started when we let the Kentucky Headhunters up on there with no shirt. It went downhill from there in country music.
Went downhill.
Walk softly on. Bill Monroe like passed out when he heard that song. Let's go back to 1945. Guess who was born on this day? She had Betty Davis eyes. Kim Carnes.
I did not know that.
She even done that duet with Kenny that probably made her the career that she had was Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer.
She had that raspy voice.
Two Fools Collide. She done a lot with Kenny Rogers. He just tracked down women to do duets with, if you really think about it. From Dolly to Shelley West to her mama.
So what does that make her, 75 now?
Yeah. Ooh, that doesn't even sound right, does it? I tried to educate Chris before you got here. In 1959, Radney Foster was born. He was big back in the late 80s, early 90s. Radney Foster, part of Foster and Lord. Texas in 1880 was one of their big hits. They had a string of hits, but Chris didn't seem to know anything.
No, I didn't.
I remember Radney Foster, but I can't.
Yeah,
Great guy.
You said what year? What?
About 88, 89. He wasn't the class of 89 with Clint Black and Alan Jackson and all that bunch, but he was coming on strong then. A great writer, and boy, he had some great music. That was. 1963, this is probably more Chris's turf as we go to the number one song in America was Surf City with Jan Dean. You kind of look like a surfer.
Are you?
Jan was
Miss
the
Candace,
guy's name.
what is he smoking over there?
I don't know.
Everything was going good until they made enough money to buy a Corvette and he wrecked, and it went bad from there for their career. They were the answer to the Beach Boys is what they were. Kind of like the group Atlanta that tried to go up against Alabama. They recorded an album. They all fought, and they broke up, and then their song went number one. They went around going, what do we do now? We're no longer a group. Atlanta burned again last night, and I see it in his eye. He has no clue the song I'm talking about.
I don't know.
And all the water in the ocean couldn't put out the fire. You know, she hit on this old boy, and they had a fling. Y'all aren't with me.
We lost Scotty Ray.
Hey, someone mentioned it, Scotty. So is edumacate an actual word?
It is.
Could you spell it? Is it edumacate?
It is it on a stick.
It is.
Yeah, kind of like hey, guesstimate.
Yeah.
Guesstimation.
I got all kinds of words. Y'all hang close. 1968 on the cover of TV Guide, and I love this show. The mama was kind of mean. I always felt that that little whip that she used on the horses, she'd hit me with it. But the Big Valley made it to TV Guide on this day. And that right there, you know who she is, don't you?
Linda Evans.
Ooh, she was hotter than a $2
Crystal
pistol.
on Dynasty.
Hotter than a $2 pistol.
She was a really pretty lady.
She was.
Or is a little pretty. You know, I have not seen her.
And what year was that TV Guide?
68.
68. 2 years before I
15
was.
cents would get you that.
2 years before I was hatched.
Oh, boy. Let's see. Also, 1968, Johnny Cash would go number one on this date. And if you'll remember watching the movie, it was a controversy. They didn't want him to go do it. And he said, well, I'm going. Y'all could show up with your recorder or not, but I'm going to be there if you want to get the album. And it went number one on this date. Folsom Prison Blues.
Wow.
Goodness.
Pretty good stuff there. As we saw in 1969 also, some say it was still a fake. I guess it really happened. I don't know. They say it was a movie production. Some do. It's always a conspiracy theory going on. But he walked on the moon. NASA says it happened. What say you? Was it a movie production or did he actually do it?
It happened, my goodness.
Okay. Making sure that you're on point here. 1971, this girl, I could not get into this show, but millions of Americans loved it. I just couldn't. What was the name of that show, Chris?
I think Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
It was just sitting there with popcorn and you want to cry for absolutely no reason for someone in Hollywood that has absolutely nothing to do with your life.
So do you ever go down and just sit in the parking lot of Anderson's Hospital just to watch the drama?
I'm usually at the PD parking lot. What could have been?
1973, he would be 32 years old. He was already a big movie star, and we would lose him today. Bruce Lee. He'd done what no other done with martial arts. Then we got Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck, a buddy of mine that is with MBN. I used to, you see a lot of the Chuck Norris memes and stuff like that. And I used to joke around. They would make a joke about Steven Seagal or whatever. I said, "Man, watch your mouth. Don't say anything." He'd have never beat Chuck Norris. I could care less about Chuck Norris. Yeah, but he actually sent me last week in the mail a case of water that was a C-Force, and it's Chuck Norris picture on it. Absolutely love it.
And the greatest, what would you rate the greatest Chuck Norris movie? Of course, you got Invasion USA, all those good ones. But I got to go with.
I think the one that was simple for him, that he didn't have to learn a lot of lines.
Which one?
Was Walking Tall? Not Walking Tall. Walker, Texas.
Yeah. He just stared and looked at the eyes of the eagle.
I think his only line in each episode is, "What are you doing?" And then he started kicking.
But my favorite Chuck Norris movie has to be Lone Wolf McQuaig. Absolutely.
McQuaig.
They tried to take him out and buried him in that Dodge truck, and he just cranked it up and drove right out of the hole. Jumped out, whooped them all. He was good. That really was a good show. And if you haven't watched it was from the 70s, I urge you to go back and watch that movie. 1984, we would see something that we'd never seen before. Miss America on the cover of, inside Playboy magazine. It got so bad, they said, "Give us back your crown. You can't do that. Shame. And they did. They took it away on this day back in 84. Vanessa Williams.
It'll probably fit right in today's narrative.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah.
We would lose, and I didn't really think about this until I was reading up on this yesterday, but there were two Mrs. Gladyses and Bewitched. This lady would actually be on there longer.
Remember that, yeah.
But they all played under the same name, and she passed away on this day back in 99. Miss Sandra Gould, she played the second Mrs. Gladys that was always so nosy, trying to figure out what was going on.
I think everybody has a Gladys living
They do.
somewhere around them, don't you think?
Somebody said there's
Open
a
the
Candace in their
blinds.
neighborhood.
Everybody has a Gladys in the family.
Yeah.
Chris, I didn't think about that, but you're right.
Yeah, every family has it.
Knows everything about everybody and
What's going on? Yeah, that you got to have
or
it.
thinks they do.
I used to kind of joke with my mother-in-law and stuff. I said, "You could have been a dispatcher." You love getting in everybody's business, but it's fun. I mean, hey, if I needed to find out something, I'd call her. Hey, what do you know about this? Oh, that's so-and-so and so-and-so, so-and-so. Yeah. Grandfather was born in 1922.
I'm bringing your mother-in-law with you next time. And we're going to ask her, what do you know about Chris? Let's turn and talk about the good folks. You'll find them at the North Hills area there. Snowden and Company, they take care of homes all over the area. Whether you're in Lauderdale County, maybe you're in Kemper, maybe you're over toward Jackson, they do all this. You can find them at snowdenrealestate.com to take a look at all the different homes they got. Scroll through, find what you want, and then call Amanda. She'll help you out there, and y'all go tour. From big, large homes to, smaller homes that maybe you just have 2 people. Maybe you need a classic home, one up in DeKalb, Mississippi. Move up there with everybody. Out to Dalewood, where the water is beautiful, they've got them all over the place. And again, from all types of counties, around 453-3937. Find the house that, fits your lifestyle. On down to the good folks there in Clark County there. You'll find them there, even out in Lake Ross Collins. Wherever the home is, whatever the need is in your life at this point, they have it. Whether you've gotten outgrown children and the house is too big or, you got too many kids. They've got it all at Snowden Real Estate. Again, 416-2747. This is Amanda. She'll walk you through this and make it a simple process. Her entire staff, that's what they look like. Identified. It's like the most wanted in Meridian. 601-453-3937. Drop in and visit with them today. You'll be glad that you did.
It's Mike Rice here with Mike Rice Auctions and Wholesale. We have just signed the contract on the High Cotton Marketplace in Waynesboro, Mississippi. We've got a great auction lined up for you for July the 23rd. It'll be an online and in-person auction, so you can check out www.mikericeauctions.highbid.com. But majority of this stuff will be sold in person. It'll be an absolute auction, which means everything will go to the highest bidder. Mike Rice here with Mike Rice Auctions and Wholesale. We'll see you guys Saturday, July 23rd.
Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk. And welcome back, Scotty Ray and Candace, as we start this day. And Dylan Ray has put on my phone, because he put some banking stuff on there to where I have to look at my phone to get in it now. Oh. It don't work so well in the dark.
Yeah, it probably doesn't.
He didn't recognize me last night, and then I thought, what is the passcode?
I've done that before, and I've been doing this, like, in the dark, trying to get my phone to open up if I'd gotten a notification. But I want to say congratulations, though, right now to Chapel Hart.
Yes.
They were on America's Got Talent last night, and they got the golden buzzer. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It
really
is.
And I missed the performance because I had forgotten it was on last night. I got busy. But I think you can Google Chapel Hart and it's on, like, it's under the Google thing, and you can watch the performance. So, and it's also on our page where they
loaded it up.
So.
Put your phone down and don't.
No, we got to address this. I don't know if I can get this up in front of the camera, but I was sent this just a moment ago, and they're saying that this looks like Chris. Anybody see that? Who is this guy from Metallica?
Lead singer for Metallica. I've heard that, and also Ron Perlman. I even took my little girl's little puppy in to get a shot, and they said, "Sir, you don't mind if I say that you look just like Ron Perlman?" I said, "Well, that's an insult." I said, "Are you saying I've got a 4-acre forehead like him and
I don't know the guy.
100 wrinkles?" He's the one that played Sons of Anarchy. He was the father, and then also Hellboy, I think it's called.
I know who he is now.
So no, and I'll be getting back with that individual that texts that.
It could have been worse, Chris. They could have said that you look more like Richard Simmons. Sweating to the MPD.
Yeah, wearing a skin-tight onesie.
That's right. Don't do that. But if you ever heard the rest of the story from Paul Harvey about him, it is truly amazing.
Richard Simmons?
Yeah, of what that man went through, where he was on that park bench and he was going to commit suicide. He was way overweight. He had reached the end of it, and he was on a park bench going to commit suicide. And his life turned around, and he became what he is from that. And it was such an interesting story. We don't hear from him much anymore. I hope he's okay.
I think I had heard he was in not great health.
Hope he's okay, too.
At one point, but I don't know what's going on. So
Sure miss those.
He would be pretty up on.
Yeah, he'd be getting on up there. Now, we also need to address there was a shooting in Meridian, Mississippi yesterday. We see this all too often. I went down and, like I said, I made my mama go with me. And this is the scene of the police here. This was on the corner of 18th Street and 25th Avenue. As a person was outside, was shot in the stomach. He was believed to be a female involved in this, in a shooting, driving a black sedan that fled the scene. I have not gotten a report back from the MPD as to where they are into the investigation. Now, I don't want anybody to panic and say this was just a common drive-by. No, this was most likely, they knew who they were after, an individual of who they targeted. Isn't that the way to word it?
Right. Yeah, and so I think that one makes it either around 45, 45 or 46 ag assaults so far this year, just in 6 months.
That's a lot.
Well, you combine that with 45 to 46 ag assaults involving a weapon, and then 10, I think it's 10 recorded murders so far this year in 6 months. It's just absolutely, it's absolutely crazy. So you just have to. I think it's more so now that you have to really pay attention to situational awareness and what you should do, no matter what time of day. I think that happened during the middle of the day, didn't it?
It did.
And then having an armed robbery at the mall during the afternoon hours.
5:30 is when that happened.
Yeah, they're just looking for easy targets, and once again, they know there's no officer presence, and there's no proactiveness, and everything is being reactive. You see a lot of things on there. The arrest reports are. There's a lot of arrest reports and things. What people have to understand, those are after the fact. Those are after the crime has been committed, and that just goes to show you that you'll never be successful in public safety unless you have the proactive mindset, unless you have a proactive program set in place in law enforcement, whether it's a city, whether it's a county, whether it's a state, whether it's the feds. You have to be proactive to be successful in law enforcement. And when you don't have that, you have utter chaos.
So what can we do, I guess, like women, if you, or whoever really? I mean, if we're going, we have to go to the grocery store. We have to go do things, we can't
take Chuck Norris with you.
Stay at the house the whole time. I mean, what are some things, I guess, that we could do?
I'll tell you, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll tell you something simple, Candace, that not only women but men, because here's the deal: men are susceptible too. So you go into a grocery store, you go into a store, and you buy something and purchase something. What do you see 98% of people do when they come out of the store? They have their head buried in their phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So if a woman's coming out of a grocery store or a store, put your phone in your pocket, have your key fob in your hand because it has a panic button, and don't put it in your purse, because somebody runs up to you and snatches your purse. Well, there's your keys. There goes your web
purse.
Well, either one. I mean, a purse is a purse to me.
Well, and a purse, if you do have a purse and you have a buggy, you know how they have the little child latch thing?
Right.
Latch your strap of your purse into that thing, because they're not snatching that off.
Yeah, I agree. But as far as what you can do is, when you first come out, know your surroundings.
Right,
just look around before you just beeline straight to your vehicle with your head buried in your phone, and then there's a white panel van bread truck next to your car or whatever that says free puppies, and you still just have your head buried in the trunk putting your groceries in there. Just know your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. Take an extra 5 minutes if you have to find a more safe place to park, not next to a vehicle that in the middle of August people are sitting in it. Just be more aware. Look, work on preventive maintenance rather than waiting for something bad to happen before you start paying attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, I know I have a pepper spray too.
That will work. That does help. Yeah. On the way, we're going to tell you about a second shooting that happened in Meridian yesterday. We haven't talked about that yet, but that's on the way. Right now, let's go over and talk about our friends at Maple's One Stop Shop, where they've got conveniently, and boy, let me tell you about clean. They really go the extra mile to make sure those bathrooms, that floor is spick and span. If you hadn't dropped into one of their locations, do so today. You'll find like right here at the Chevron station there on St. Paul Street. Breakfast is served with bacon and eggs and a whole lot more there. Order what you want. And, of course, we'll have the menu for lunch coming up in a little bit. Tater logs and a whole lot more. You'll enjoy it. Drop in and see them. Boy, don't act like you don't eat those tater logs, Chris.
Bro, I don't discriminate. I eat food. I
they're
could care less
wonderful.
about, I could care less about quality, even though I've actually had those and it's delicious.
It is.
I'm in quantity. I'm in the amount.
You'll get plenty of food there. Maybe you're looking for a Snickers bar, just something quick. They got that also along with pizza. You'll find that out at Bonita and also Pine Springs. Lottery tickets, as we're up to over $600 million in the state of Mississippi to win. Drop in and get you a ticket today. You'll find them at Bonita, Pine Springs, Causeyville, or you can even drop into the Last Chance Tobacco there on 493. You can also drop in and visit with them along with Broadmoor and 31st Avenue. See them today. You'll find so much more there.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. And Chris is over there giggling about something. I don't know what.
One of the comments just said, Chris Reed, keep your onesie wearing self on the other side of the fence. Let me go ahead and clarify something. All right.
Did you wear a onesie somewhere?
When I had cloth diapers in early 70s. But I will tell you this, gone are the days where John Wayne, you see the John Waynes of today. But trust me when I say this, I know who I am. I'm a man, and I'm going to remain a man. I don't have to question. I don't have to guess. So gone are the days of the John Waynes, and now you have somebody that says, hey, I want to get Woman of the Year, but I'm a man.
That does happen.
I don't get it.
As I mentioned, another shooting occurred in Meridian yesterday. This would be over at Frank Berry Courts is where this would happen. An apartment complex caught bullets into it, busted out the glass. Meridian police responded. They found shell casings out front. They're tracking this down. Hopefully they'll catch who did this. No one was injured, thank heavens. But a common occurrence that happens throughout our city nowadays. As you say, watch where you are.
Right.
So what's on tap today? You go back to work tomorrow?
Yeah. I know my wife's upset about that. She enjoyed me staying around the house. She says, you need to quit milking your hernia surgery, but it's been rough. Men can't handle pain.
No, they cannot. I can't.
I'm a baby when it comes to it. And look, I'm not a physician. He's the one that released me on a certain date, and I just have to go with what he says.
No, it's proven fact that it hurts men worse than ladies. It really is.
It's funny. My wife had a major surgery, and a week later she went back to work. And I said, well, that's her. That's not me. I don't have anything to do with that.
And up until then, men couldn't have babies until here lately.
There's a reason. Even the surgeon came in. He said, Chris, he said, now you understand why the good Lord made women have children, because they can handle it. And I said, well, it hurt me whenever I was blinking my eyes.
Woo, it does. It does. Maybe next time we'll get into the folks saying here, maybe you should consider running for mayor. We appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a year to move back in the city. Hint, 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 hint,
hint. Get at it. All right, we want to say thank you to everybody for joining us this morning. We're coming back tomorrow. It's going to be a hot day, 105 on the heat index side or worse. Ooh. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow, beginning at 8 a.m.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.